Leaf and Carpet to take us away. All yours.
Thank you, Golden Boy. I guess our show got canceled. We're no longer the Brody and the Beard.
No,
we're done.
It didn't.
We're out there.
2 episodes, it was done. Didn't make it very long.
That was enough. But look at this. Genesis and now Empyreal. I know these guys actually have a 5-man roster. Ample being one of the other guys that I know well to be on the team, but I guess couldn't be on it this time. We got OD Joey playing. It's interesting. What do you think about that lineup, having OD Joey as their third instead of something like
I think it's going to be tough because when you see teams that really haven't been around as much, they're not as high in the power rankings. They don't play with their subs very much because they're still trying to work out their main roster and trying to climb. So I think it could be rough. But I do want to make a quick comment on Genesis. Since we were talking Moses and Espeon, or Moses got swapped for Espeon on Genesis roster, I was talking to Quinn and Pluto, and they made a point that Espeon, like they just feel like they play better with him, I feel like. And Espeon, anyone that's played with him, and I'm sure James can attest for this, he makes everyone kind of play better. He's such a good playmaker. He's always where he needs to be. He's never taken over the show. He's not putting you in bad places. He knows your strengths and weaknesses, and he plays off of them. So I think the swap for Moses actually will work in their favor, personally. We'll
see. Now, I was talking also to Chad at an earlier time, and he was mentioning that he thinks maybe Espeon Quinn may tend to fit the same role, and he's worried that maybe that might end up they might overstepping each other. So that's something that we definitely have to watch out for. But again, Gibbs mentioned it. Lawler last month was mentioning Espeon, one of those great players to get up in the air, get to that ball first, and as long as those two can work out what they're doing and where they're going to be, hopefully we're going to see a very, very strong match from them. But we're going to jump into it. Both teams getting down onto the field, getting those cars revved up, ready to go. We're going to see if Genesis goes the way that JamesBot says and takes a 2-0, or if Wavebunk's right and Empyreal can come out on top. Who is going to get it going off the kickoff? We got Joey and Pluto, which will kick off. Both teams trying to get themselves ball control to get a quick early goal, but Bell already getting a goal. A deflection off the defender.
What? What? This was not expected. Bell came up. He got the touch off the wall. I think he wanted to pass it mid, but he wasn't able to get around it in time, and it pops right off the defender who was not ready for the angle shot on net. It could have been intentional. There's a chance, but the way he angled his car, it looked like he actually wanted to push that mid for a pass, and it worked very much in his favor.
Very much is very correct. Already another one going off the backboard, trying to get another one set of overdose Joey. Good pressure, gets knocked out by Quinn. That's going to allow Espeon and Pluto to get a play started, but Pluto just misses that. Espeon will follow it up, and over top of Fireworks. Just gets a touch, still dangerous. Spot for the ball to be. Quinn just dropping that down, doesn't get the second touch. Really good play coming out of Genesis as they try to even up this scoreboard.
Genesis knows they're 1 goal down, so they got to keep the aggression up, but you definitely don't want to concede another goal.
Oh! And there it is, the tie-in, the equalizer. Quinn dropping that one in.
Quinn turned around so fast for this. He's able to pop it up high, forcing Bell to go for the touch. Quinn ends up bodying him out of the way. He takes out Bell instead of getting the second touch, which gives him the goal. Quinn coming in clutch, turning that around, making sure that they're able to put that aggression on as quickly as possible.
Incredible, already tied up. That's going off the top. Espeon keeps that to the side. Quinn now has to clear, but Fireworks going to put it almost on target. Bell, can he sink it in? He can't. Gets stuffed out by Pluto. Pluto losing control to Joey. Very, very good pressure coming out of Empyreal at the moment as they keep this a tie game. Only a minute in, though. Can go either way. We'll see if Espeon, Pluto can figure it out. Oh, the bump on Pluto is not going to allow him to get a touch, allowing Empyreal to push back to midfield to see if they can get control and keep moving forward. Joey trying to get a pass out for his teammates. Nothing really coming out of it as Genesis tries to go back on Espeon. Just barely missing the corner there.
I like seeing the aggression coming out of Empyreal. They feel confident right now, even though as far as power rankings go and as far as past playing as go, like they should be kind of maybe shaking in their boots right now, and they're not. They're keeping the aggression on. They're meeting them at the middle. They're meeting them at these balls, and in essence, it's keeping this game much more toe-to-toe, and they're not letting Genesis get the passing plays that they're so good at.
Pluto just being a little bit patient on his flip there, squeezing that past the defender, waiting for the initial hit.
Pluto gets his first touch, and Espeon reads it, pops it back mid, clears one of the defenders out. Pluto sees the placement. He sees the, noticing where the defender's placed is actually a big part of when you take your shots. He noticed the defender was not facing the right direction. He was a little too far out, so he just put it behind him. Not a very tough shot, but if you don't notice that, you might put it right at a defender.
It's tough. He had a lot of options to shoot from. Pluto gave himself a lot of room. He took the right one as he confused out Bell, the defender. Fireworks getting a touch and a save because of it. Now Fireworks, Joey on the push out. Bell waiting back, See if anything can happen. Pluto, only defender, steals that away, gets it past 2 attackers. Now Joey trying to rush back. See if his teammates can get in place. Fireworks already there. Gonna get a nice touch out to midfield. Great clear. Bell trying to get a little bit of a drop down. He's gonna get a drop pass. Get the touch. Got beaten out by Genesis. Genesis getting a little mucked up here. Pluto gets the touch instead of midfield. Challenged at midfield is Bell. That could go off the corner. Pass out to a teammate. Pluto just barely keeping that out of his net, but there's a shot. Fireworks rushing that one in.
I wanted to mention this earlier, but as far as when I'd known Fireworks, I know James Bott mentioned him, he is quite the striker. He's got good placements, and they're fast-paced right now. They're countering what Genesis is good at, which is keeping control, getting the passing plays. And Empyreal's shutting that down and turning it into opportunities, and that's going to end up biting Genesis in the butt, essentially, if they don't like keep the fast pace up with Empyreal, and Empyreal can get these touches quicker. They're going to keep putting in the shots.
Shot from Espeon, just barely is trying to get that nice little soft touch with the underside to just squeeze that in. The bottom of the net couldn't quite get control on it he needed. Fireworks, overdose Joey and his teammates doing good rotations, keeping themselves on the ball. Very, very good communication coming from Empyreal. No one crowding up, getting the touches they needed on defense to get back to midfield, and there's the clear that they need to get another attack started up, see if they can create any goal opportunities off of this offensive attack. Bell, good squeeze in there. But Espeon getting a touch on that. Wins out the 50-50. Pluto, can he get some mind games himself? Espeon with the follow-up. The shot. What positioning from Espeon.
The patience. In the descriptive word of James, Espeon is sick. I know that James said that, but he saw the 50 happening. Pluto was going to try and mind game him, maybe dribble it around, and he waited patiently to just kind of interrupt and play. And Espeon waited just at the right place. He's like, honestly, if they get the pinch, it's probably going to come over my way. And he just slams a shot in right now without even thinking.
Quinn has control now, pushing that pass, challenged out. EMP pushing that, trying to push that back on the attack. Ooh, bad touch, just going to leave an open net. Espeon with a little bit of an easy goal there.
Didn't have to do whole much, even though Espeon might be too sick for that goal. But Bell ends up touching that back towards the defender, and his defender was just not prepared. It was a little too high. Maybe he should have just let the bounce happen. I think the guy that was back on Empyreal, Bell, was waiting for the bounce to take the touch, and then all of a sudden when his teammate hits it, it's like, and he wasn't ready for that trajectory change.
Waiting for the touch, and it just went into the wrong spot. A little bit close, a little bit of a malfunction between the team, but 2 goals to even this one up. Whether they've been playing, it's totally possible coming up to the last minute of gameplay, but it's going to be a struggle. Shot with another wide open net, and it's just, I guess, as you said, he's way, way too sick for Empyreal right now.
Just way too sick. The issue is right now Empyreal knows they have to score. They've got a minute and now a 3-goal deficit, so they're going to have to be hyper-aggressive. A lot of these goals that are going to happen are just kind of coincidental. I don't want to say coincidental, but they're just kind of situational because they know they have to be hyper-aggressive. If they don't score, they're going to lose anyways.
Exactly. You have to put that pressure on, especially in the last minute of play. If you're not putting the pressure on, you're not going to get the shots, and you're just going to stalemate out at the score you're at.
Exactly.
And that's a losing score, which you need goals. So we'll see if they can pull out another one. I mean, 2 goals in the next 30 seconds would be doable, and that would put them close to being back on the map for an overtime. But again, they keep getting caught on those aggressive plays as Genesis now puts another shot on net off the crossbar. Joey just doing everything he can to stop a second shot coming out of that one. Quinn winning in the air. Pluto with almost a nice little touch, missing the corner of that Dominus. Messing up Joey is going to allow Quinn to keep possession. Now it looks like Genesis putting on the insane amount of pressure.
Empyreal, for about the first half of this game, they were meeting at the midfield every single time for Genesis, not letting them get any pass plays, which is what they excel at. Quinn, an exceptional passer. Espeon, again, works well with his teammates, but they were interrupting that before anything could happen. And now they're kind of they're not meeting it as quick. They're kind of sitting on the back, waiting for the counter hits, but Genesis is just too good at touching it to each other.
Yeah, Overdose Joe is in a little bit of a weird spot there, waiting for a touch. They're just trying to make sure another goal doesn't go in. They don't want to end on a goal, and it almost did. Bell barely keeping that one away, but a very, very strong start coming from Empyreal. We saw very close beginning of the game, but then it just kind of got taken away from them near the end by Genesis. Coming into game number 2, I feel like they're just going to, well, not have those bad touches, first of all, that we saw Fireworks with open nets, but anything else they need to do to just maintain what they had in the first half of that first game.
They just need to keep that pace up. You could tell they got, when Genesis wasn't able to play the game they're used to, weren't able to sink as many goals in. But as soon as that second half, when, like you said, when they were in there, they were just constantly in Imperial's half, and they were able to play the game they're comfortable with. Quinn getting the passes off, Espeon getting the touches, Espeon playing with Pluto when he played up, waited for that pinch to just come right in front of him, and he took the shot. That's when they just started to rip ahead. That's when they got that 3-goal deficit. They just, I think they slowed down a little bit because they were maybe intimidated. Once it was tied, they're like, if we can keep it tied and sink one more, but you can't do that. You got to keep the aggression.
The second you let up any bit, a team like Genesis is going to push, hey, we have a little room to breathe. Let's get some more balls into your net. Like, it's just, that's going to happen. It's exactly what you said. If they let up any little bit in this next one, it's going to be game over for them as a 2-0.
And I mean, that's pretty much exactly it.
So we'll see in game number 2.
I feel like I had a good point to say, and not anymore.
It's game number 2. Who's going to be able to take it away? If Genesis can walk away with a 2-0, or if Empyreal can maintain what they had in the first game, keep that pressure on, and get some goals themselves. Already on target is Fireworks. There we go. EMP with the first goal once again, but I mean, we saw that last time.
That's exactly what happened within the first few seconds. A goal. They didn't sit in net. I think James is going to freak out. Once we get back to him, I'm excited to see him triggered. Triggered James is my favorite James. But again, you got to sit in net off kickoff. You really have to be careful.
Triggered we are. Triggered we are. As the first goal goes in 5 seconds. 5 seconds in. Espeon winning up in the air. Got challenged out, though, by Bell. Still sitting at midfield. No one really taking control. Both teams trying to get a play set up. Ball floats back down to midfield. Espeon in the air. Bell catches that off the ground. A good bounce with that nose. Gets the chip out to the far side, but back into their own zone. Thankfully, as Bell is there to push it aside. Probably needing some boost based off the way he's playing. He does. He's going to lose that one out to Pluto. Pluto out to Quinn. Quinn couldn't get the backside on it to get a goal. Almost reaching a minute of gameplay. And no more goals have started. Looks like Genesis just trying to get some sweet plays started up. As EMP does put another shot on net. And Joey takes credit this time.
I don't even know where he came from. He flew in from the back corner. No one on Genesis was prepared for this. He rotated his car around to make sure he hit it with the top of his car. It was actually a beautiful touch by Joey, getting the angle he needed from such a tight. That was almost like a 90-degree shot. That was very impressive.
I'm going to say it too, just because about 300 hours in is when I realized, but there's an air roll in the game where you can turn your car, you can air roll your car by holding generally the square or the X button on your controller. There might be some people that still don't know that, but another shot almost coming up from EMP. See if they can get a third goal on, but again, as you said, they need to maintain the pressure on. They need to not let up and hold this lead. Try to keep doing what they're doing. Fireworks missing that one. Only person back there. Putting the shot on net, just off the backboard. Can he follow it up? Puts it in the far side, just missing. A little bit wide. Gonna give EMP a chance to get out. Again, bullying from Joey on Pluto. Allows that to go into the orange territory. We'll see if they can get out of their zone, back down into EMPs. That's going to be an opportunity for Pluto, it looks like, but he's going to wait back patiently for Fireworks to get the hit, missing the read off that bounce.
Genesis seems to be a little slower. They're not following up their touches. Right here, Pluto's going to try and get the redirects back over to, I believe that was Espeon that came up for that. Something they have to be careful of is if, especially now with being 2 goals down, they've got 3 minutes. They need to make something out of this.
Bell, the last defender, challenging that to Pluto. Back to midfield. Looks like they're going to go. Quinn trying to keep that from going into their own zone. That's a shot on net, actually. Espeon way up in the air. Sorry, I thought someone was going to get that.
Espeon with the high lob. He ends up getting, he comes off the wall for this, nearly near the ceiling, keeps it so high. Those are hard to predict, especially when you're like, all right, it might hit the ceiling, it's going to come down. You kind of wait for it to hit the ceiling, and then it never hits the ceiling. Now you haven't jumped. It's coming right for your net. That, I mean, just for him to even get up that high off the wall and be that accurate.
Approaching the halfway mark in about 15 seconds. Only a 1-goal deficit for Genesis, and based off the amount they got last time, we know that they can do this. The EMP doing everything they can to maintain this lead. Fireworks trying to challenge that. Bell going back to his own zone as he sees Espeon gain control of that. Pluto with the shot going a lot wide. Bell just makes sure it keeps going that direction. Quinn putting it back in front of the net. Espeon trying to finish it off, but that's going way back in the zone. Bell pushing that way to the side. Maybe could have got a better touch to put it into the net, but at least they kept it in the zone. That's dropping down dangerously close to the net. And now with Bell messed up in the net, Espeon was just waiting like a shark to put that in.
Empyreal is getting a little bit antsy on defense sometimes. We just saw all 3 Empyreal players in the corner. Thankfully, Genesis wasn't able to get control. It would have been just an easy shot off the corner, easy angle for anyone on the Genesis team. I've seen them pull it off countless times But Empyreal still keeping up the pressure here and there. They slow down a little bit, letting Genesis get the passing place a little bit more here and there. But they just need to keep interrupting. They can keep this lead.
Joey leaves that one out for Bell. Bell throws it out to the midfield. Could be dangerous. Espeon was up for that touch. Definitely don't want to be throwing those in front of the net when Espeon is nearby. Quinn going to drop that aside. Takes away from Pluto, though, and that's going to leave him as the last defender. Thankfully, they rotate back, but back to the blue end. Joey trying to get the second touch, and he does! Joey pulling out some Luchino moves, it looks like.
Reading this up off the ceiling is one of the most difficult things. He knows he gets it high, so he angles his car.
Oh, my goodness,
He manages
Joey.
to follow that off the ceiling. No one prepared for it. No one's ever ready for someone to get that second touch. Like you said, we saw Luchino do that earlier in Qualifier, and it's just such an unexpected move. But coming in when he needs to, they're keeping their cool.
Absolutely incredible shot coming up an overdose, showing them that he was the right third to pick for this game. Joey, although accidentally passing that one back to Genesis. Thankfully, EMP gets recontrol of that. Bell with a shot on net. It's going to go a little bit wide, it looks like, as now Genesis are trying to put a little more of that last-minute hustle onto the ball, as they need 2 goals if they don't want to lose this one.
2 goals in 1 minute is very, very possible, but it's not looking so good with Empyreal.
Especially when Fireworks drops another one.
Sinking yet another one. Looks like a little bit of over-possession here. Try to get a little touch back to, I think Pluto tried to touch it back to one of his third players who was cheating up a little bit too much. But again, one of those situational goals. They knew they had to score. They had to start over-committing, or they would just lose anyways. And for the situation, Empyreal spreads the lead by a 3-goal deficit.
Oh, this is looking a lot opposite than what we saw last time. Imperial taking the lead by more than a few goals. Bell with another shot off the crossbar. Overdose. Joey to finish it up, and he gets another one. 5-1 for Imperial.
Hopefully Genesis can just erase whatever's happening right now in this game, because they are going to be quite upset with themselves letting this many goals sink in on such a big stage. Right, this is going to potentially, what looks like it's going to tie the series up. This is to qualify. This is to make it in to the group stages. Both the teams really, I mean, Imperial, keep doing what you're doing. Genesis, I don't know what you're doing.
I don't think they do either. Quinn just giving away possession on that one. Fireworks getting the touch. Bell to follow it up. Tries to get a read, but a little bit late on that. They want to sink another one. They have 30 seconds left to get 2 more goals. We'll see if they can do it. That'd be very, very difficult to do against a team like Genesis, but I would already have thought 5-1 win would be a little bit difficult to do against Genesis. But Imperial showing us what they can do. Espeon now with the dribble opportunity. He gets the touch. Look at that. Oh. Very, very good dribble.
It's still showing just how sick he really is.
He's so sick.
So much patience. He waits for that second flip, gets the touch over the final defender, and keeping their cool to be able to do this is what they need going into Game 3. If they can kind of get the momentum in their favor towards the end of this game and kind of work out the kinks, work out what we'll be doing wrong last time, I think they maybe underestimated Imperial. They weren't prepared for this kind of aggression to be able to shut down their plays.
It is, because right now, with having a 5-2 lead, Imperial's going to go in with momentum. They're going to go in feeling confident, and they're going to play exactly how they just played this match. And when they just won it against you 5-2, you don't want them playing the same. So Genesis are going to have to make some serious changes if they want to not throw away another game like that. Like, that's incredible that we saw the complete opposite, especially when we heard predictions of 2-0 coming from Genesis. And honestly, that would have been my prediction as well.
Yeah, I would have assumed Genesis would have kind of maybe come in and dominated both these games pretty readily, because like I said, their passing plays are incredible. They've got, I mean, all 3 of them. I know I emphasized 2 of them, but all 3 of those guys have just such a toolbox of skills they have. And I haven't really seen a lot of Imperial. I know they're kind of 2 teams just kind of mashed together recently to form, and they're doing a good job of countering this high level of play. Because high level play is all about preventing the other team from even doing anything. It's almost kind of like hot potato sometimes.
Yeah.
You continue on to possession, you pass to each other, do whatever, and Imperial's just shutting it down. And with strikers like Fireworks, and now Joey's showing his strength by that nasty little 90-degree shot he took from the back corner.
That's so good.
I mean, I think it seems that Genesis is just kind of caught off guard. They weren't prepared to have to deal with something like this right now.
Oh, again, keeping on Overdose Joey, that other shot that he got off the roof too. Like, who would have expected him to make that? Genesis probably sitting back and saying, "Oh, okay, these guys can do stuff. We're gonna have to change this up coming to the next one." You know, they won the first one, saying, "All right, it'll be the same way in the next one." But they're being contested. They are being, well, they got beat out. They need to change it up. Coming into game at number 3, series tied up 1-1 in this best of 3 with Imperial versus Genesis. See who can take away this next one. Pluto off the wall. Nice touch. Quinn probably should have been up to that to challenge that against Fireworks, but he isn't. So said Fireworks is going to push that into Genesis zone, trying to get a shot. Bell just a little wide. Pluto was there anyways to defend it. Good pressure from Joey. He's going to leave that one up for Pluto. Fireworks instead, once again, getting that backside. He loves using that backside of the nose of his car there.
It's the strongest part of the car, and he's using it well. He gets up real close to it, and then he flips around really fast to make sure he gets a powerful touch, good clears, and even if it just slams off the corner really hard, it's probably going to most likely start centering, so you're forcing a defender, even if it's an easy block.
Oh, Espeon! What a great shot, but blocked out by Overdose Joey. Quinn now trying to get another play set up. Espeon was ready for that, but oh, Bell, this field side flip's going to give Pluto enough time to challenge that one. Quinn's just going to do a back pass, see if no one's there, though, so Overdose Joey's like, oh, well, I'll just take that from you. Bell steals it off the top, the pass out. Pluto's going to win the contest on that in the air. Overdose Joey stealing that away. The roll up, who can get to that? Oh, good demo from Pluto to make sure Overdose Joey couldn't get up. Shots on net, but Bell, good defensive rotation, keeps it from going in the net.
The defense on Empyreal is much stronger right now. They know that they're going to get a lot of midfield shots. And even that redirect from Espeon, I honestly, from the angle I saw, I thought it was going in. I cannot believe someone from Empyreal read that.
Oh, but Espeon says, I'm going to get one of them one of these times.
They weren't able to read this. Yeah, Quinn puts it over to the top left of the net. Espeon's like, no worries, man. I know you missed. I'm going to help sink this in. Bell goes up. I think Bell may have seen Espeon going for that. It looked like he was not going directly for the ball, but kind of trying to get the block. But it's impossible to know where Espeon's going to put it.
Well, especially with, again, by the time you see Espeon, it's probably already too late. It's already too late. Bell getting a good pinch. That's going to be in favor of his team, dropping in front of the net. He tries to follow it up himself. Pluto reads where that shot's going to be. Chases it up himself. A little upside down shot. Overdose Joey off the wall. Just needs to keep it a little higher. Dropped a little bit too low probably for Bell to get the shot. Quinn's going to be able to steal that away. Nice block from Quinn. Sets up Espeon. Now Espeon has a chance to be super sick again, but he loses out on the sick part. Just super.
Just pretty.
Doesn't get the shot. We have Overdose Joey now trying to keep it out. Pluto steals it away. Fireworks now gains possession. Quinn with off the crossbar. Very, very good defense, as you said. Oh, except here, Overdose doesn't get the side flip in time. And the shot comes from Espeon.
This was good on Bell. You don't want to let it bounce off that backboard, so he tries to read it. But the problem is Overdose Joey would have already had to be following that out of net. But instead, he had actually just been rotating back to net, which means he either should have let it come off the back wall or Bell needed a slightly better touch, should have put it to the corner. And it actually wasn't that tough of a shot for Genesis to make. They just had to place it well.
Well, we said it before. If you go for those Spider-Man saves off the backboard, you either get a really good touch to clear to push it to the side or coordinate with your teammates, as you just mentioned, to follow up. See if Pluto get a wall touch out to his teammate. Fireworks stuffs that one. Espeon traces that one down to the ground. It's going to roll up. He did read it, didn't quite get the touch, but Pluto saves him to keep it in. Nice touch again from Pluto as Fireworks and Bell try to get it out. Overdose Joey filling the position of net. Now Bell moves forward. See if he can get a shot himself. Oh, the pass out would have been great, but Espeon rolls over, steals that away. As they try to get another shot on net. Espeon just almost getting that second touches there to squeeze that into the net. Pluto trying to help keep the pressure on. 2 minutes left in this, only 2 goals down. Empyreal still doing a very, very good job of keeping up the pace of this match, and it's still anyone's game at this point.
I mean, they're going toe-to-toe with teams that statistically should have really just been dominating, and they're doing a great job. It's 1-1 in the series. Whoever wins this makes it into the group stages, and it looks like Genesis turned it on just when they need it. Espeon's just been a powerhouse of a striker. He keeps coming in exactly when he needs. He's doing really good solo plays around players, but overall, just good control out of Genesis right now.
Well, either way, I think Empyreal can walk away, whether they win or not. Pluto, whether they walk away with a win or not, I think they can walk away proud with the way they play, because they are playing strong, competing against a team like Genesis. Oh, the flip from Bell! No finish off, though. Fireworks was there, recognizing Pluto was going to get the touch. See if Pluto can get a play started up. Quinn's following behind. Puts that a little too far out of his reach, loses possession. Overdose Joey takes over off the wall. Espeon once again up in the air. 2 defenders back for EMP. Over 1. Fireworks recognizing to win it, get it. Cleans it up himself. Quinn, oh, with the touch! Nice little touch on the nose. Almost putting that one in. Final minute of gameplay.
You'll see a lot of times what Quinn touches, he doesn't really go for the net all the time. He'll actually tap it gently. He'll suck a defender out of the net just so he can pass it to another player, giving them a better shot. But if his players aren't there all the time or they're a little bit slow, sometimes it clears out. But you'll notice that he's a player that does that exceptionally well.
This could be what it needs. 40 seconds left. 2 goals. Empyreal needs to have that pressure on, but they're not. It looks like they're trying not to make the mistakes they made last time and have no one in net. But they do got to make sure they don't die out on the pressure because of that. It's do or die at this point. 30 seconds left. They have They have to get 2 goals in the net, 20 seconds. Fireworks tries to get that. Espeon keeps it away. All 3 Genesis players grouped up, trying to get it out. Fireworks can steal this away. Bell, can he follow it up? Just get it one past one defender. He couldn't. Pluto gets his body in the way. This could be it. Bell almost squeezes that by. Wow. Oh my goodness, 7 seconds. This is going to be not very easy, especially when Espeon has control. And there's the pass to Quinn. That was a great pass too. But that's going to finish it, and that's going to be it for Empyreal as Genesis takes them out, a 3-0 win in game number 3.
Genesis makes it because of this win. They qualify for the group stages. Congratulations to Genesis. But Empyreal, they need to take this heads high. There's still a chance to lose bracket. They can come through. And they just played so well against one of the better teams in NA, especially with how we've been seeing them perform. We saw they took iBuyPower to Game 5 overtime in Rocket Royale just earlier, like this week or last week. But either way, that means Empyreal went toe-to-toe with them for the bulk of these games, and they need to take them heads high going into this. They cannot let the tilt get to them. They need to go into the loser bracket knowing they've still got a big shot.
Oh, they did. They super Genesis, and you took a game like it was 2-1 against it. Like, that's incredible how well they played. As you said, heads high. You can't let the tilt factor come in. Incredible. Desk. Like, I'm curious to see what you say. How about that Empyreal?
So much, Leaf. And yeah, Empyreal, very shocking. I mean, this was a team that, you know, Carpet, I think it said, was supposed to be shaken in their boots, right? Or supposed to roll over and die, but not the case at all. Empyreal fought hard, you know, taking game number 2 here, but let's start.
Saw some incredible plays from Joey, but most of them were solo plays. A lot of his goals were stuff that, you know, you weren't expecting him to score. He was going and bouncing off the ceiling like we were talking about. You know, he made all the saves that they needed in game number 3, but he couldn't do it all by himself. And so, you know, it was it. Genesis
sounded like Genesis had some high performance. Speaking of, let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance replays here, because we had some great shots, you know, some nail biter shots here as well from Quinn. Espeon was also a superstar. You'll see a couple of his shots, but man, I have to say, very impressive stuff from Genesis in game 1.
Yeah, you could see there that pass, or Quinn just hitting it to himself and then redirecting it lower into the net. But there is another passing play. You see right here, Espeon playing. He's played back. And that ended up the ball kicking out. Just smart positioning from Espeon, looking for that to happen.
Yeah, but look at this solo from Joey, just bouncing it off the ceiling like we've talked about. This is a crazy solo play. This is amazing stuff. It completely blew away Espeon and net. He didn't know what to do with it, but if you're gonna like that sort of play by itself can't win you the game.
Yeah, and this is the one I was giggling like a schoolgirl. You saw Quinn just passing it across the field. Espeon waiting for it. That one just shutting down in the clear, getting the goal. Out of the 10 goals that Genesis scored, Espeon scored 7 of them. And then with the final goal that we saw was that passing play where Espeon dribbled it right over to Quinn. So just phenomenal play. Espeon stepping it up. I feel like he was the MVP of this series, and Genesis can breathe a sigh of relief now that they have punched their ticket into the group stage.
They really do. And Empyreal, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with down in that losers bracket, especially with on the back of OD Joey. You know, if they can get a little bit more team play going, man, I could totally see them qualifying in the group stages just a little bit later on.
One thing I just want to highlight is the mechanics from OD Joey was just absurd. That mid-air touch, like you wouldn't even have been able to tell that he, you know, grazed the ball the way that he did midair. And I think even Leaf was like, yeah, well, you know, I just found out about that one after a couple hundred hours of gameplay. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that's the reason why this game is so incredible, because of plays like that. To just, he swooped all the way over. He went for a demo, right? Did not get the demo, whiffed it completely, and said, I'm going to recorrect myself and look for the opportunity. Gets the call that it's in the air and flies in from the corner and just nudges it into the goal. Like, those things, they're just so absurd. And when you see it, you have to appreciate the skill that these players have here. And I do agree with you, James. I do feel Espeon was the MVP of this game, and one heck of a pickup for this Genesis roster. You know, they lost Moses, and we saw Moses play quite the role in that Exodus game. But Espeon was the difference maker here. His plays were phenomenal, and I know as a soccer mom, you were so happy.
Yes, I'm really just excited to see Espeon evolve as a player as we continue to go through this RLCS.
I should say soccer dad. You're just a happy soccer dad, man. Look at you.
You gotta be a fan.
You gotta be a fan.
Cheering his boy on the court.
We're all fans here.
You get him, Espeon. Oh man, it was awesome though. Of course, a huge congratulations to Genesis. They move on to the next round. They will be joining iBuyPower Cosmic, Kings of Urban, Exodus, and Mocket NA. But there is going to be another qualification match coming up next. We saw them at the top of the broadcast. Can this be their time? Lucky Bounce facing off against Retrospect. It's going to be a great game, and we'll see you on the other side.